Hey everyone, my name is Joel, and today we're going to be solving some issues that I have on my 2000 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Today I'm going to be upgrading the factory alternator to the truck alternator, so let's jump right in and get to it. Before we can lift the car up to tackle the alternator, we're going to disconnect our battery and then take the tension off the belt. I'm using an 8mm socket on a ratchet. I'm just going to disconnect my ground. Kind of lower it beneath the battery, make sure it's not touching anything metal. I'm using a 15mm socket, and all I'm going to do is push the idler pulley towards the intake, and then I'm just going to take it off. So we got the car lifted up, and now we've taken the belt off. We're going to use a 15mm socket. We're going to remove these two bolts, and then there's one bolt in the back with the 10mm socket to get that. That's a bracket back there. With the new upgrade, we won't have to mess with that bracket. We will remove it completely. Alright, we got our bolts out, so the only thing we do is just kind of wiggle it out, and then we're going to have to disconnect this connector right here. A plug up here, we're going to take that off as well. And then once we do that, we can pull the alternator out. It's a pretty tight fit, but you can get it out without removing the sway bar. Take a little screwdriver, stick it in there, get behind that clip. When you pull down, that plug will come right out. Now the fun part. Getting it between the fan and there we go. And there it is. Alright, for the truck alternator to work, we have to remove this bracket from the original alternator because the truck alternator is bigger. So this has to go away and we won't use it. We won't have to worry about putting it back on. Just gained 1/100 of a second. This is my old alternator. It's the original out of this car. And this car has roughly got about 96,000 miles on it. And so I have had this alternator rebuilt twice. But I am upgrading the truck alternator because I do run some extra accessories. I do have an amp for this car. But anyway, this has had got a second rebuild and it's fluctuating. I think it's got a bad voltage regulator in it. But anyway, so I just decided, you know what, it's time. It's 20 years old. It's been rebuilt twice. So why not just upgrade to the truck alternator, make sure we have enough amps to supply this car. So they're the same platform, so it should go in there easily without removing the sway bar. The pulleys are the same, so I mean it's really a direct swap. I ordered this off Rock Auto, just searched like a 2003 Escalade. That's what I picked, and I made sure I got the 145 amp because the stock is a 105. So this is going to go in there, and hopefully it's going to fix our alternator issues, and you know, be cruising down the road. Please don't tell me I have to take this stupid sway bar off. It's tough. I almost got it. That's tough. Well, we tried to force the truck alternator in, but we didn't want to put too much pressure on it. So we talked about dropping the sway bar, but there's some type of shield over here that's got 3 or 4 bolts that you have to take out. So we're not going to do that either. We're actually going to remove, we have one bolt here. Using a 15mm socket, we're going to take this whole bracket that holds the alternator on, and then that'll give us some extra room and allow the alternator to go back, and then we're going to put that this bracket back in, and then we'll install the alternator. We feel like that'll be an easier thing. So. what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly leave that loose so that the other bolts will line up on their own. Plugged my 4-pin plug back in, and now I'm hooking back up my wire for the generator. And all right, we're done. All right, well, we're started. We did charge the battery, and looks like that our alternator so far so good, but we'll see what it does in a second, because the symptom was that if I was at about 1,000 RPM, everything would be fine. And then as soon as I hit about 1,500, 2,000, all of a sudden the alternator would just give out. And I'd get back down to 1,000 and it would kick back in. So far it's not doing that. We're going to give it a good test here in a second. Alternator didn't even flinch. All right, well, we got it all done. New alternator, truck alternator's in, and it's reading great. We had no drop, so I think this is a success. So, peace out, everyone.